Welcome back, all my loyal patriots and nationalists of Ireland and abroad. Today we have the big news of the hour, okay? The Tonight Show, the Virgin Media Tonight Show, with of course Kieran Cuckoldry, okay, as I like to call him. This is of course the Eurovision debate. Brian Kennedy and Alan Shatter clash over whether or not Israel should be able to participate in the Eurovision, okay? Of course, the Irish media will do anything. They will do anything but talk about what's actually happening in Ireland, okay? They'll talk about other countries, Palestine, Israel, they'll talk about flipping Ukraine, they'll talk about every other country in the world while our country is getting destroyed. Okay, that's how the Irish government go, and this is the manipulative media that we have in Ireland in 2025. Okay, so stay tuned, like, comment, subscribe, help support me, guys. I got some new merch, go check out the merch. Okay, it says mainstream media is dead. I actually have one myself in the post, so we'll be wearing that t-shirt everywhere. Okay, good to see the mainstream media is completely dead, and County Gains, along with others, have taken over, okay, the entire scene. Now, first and foremost, before we get into the video, I am the greatest person to talk about this in Ireland because I am the biggest music reactor in Ireland, okay, on YouTube. Okay, I don't know about other platforms. Maybe there's somebody bigger on TikTok. I don't know. Personally, I don't care either. Okay, YouTube is the only platform that I care about. Every other platform is bullshit and you guys shouldn't really care about it, just to be perfectly honest with you. Okay, Instagram is fake. If you don't have YouTube, you are fake as a creator. YouTube is the only platform that matters, okay? But first and foremost, guys, I reacted to a bunch of different Eurovision. You know, Sweden were great. Austria that won it were great. Israel, from my personal opinion, I said all politics aside, they were absolutely amazing. Yuval Rafaela, she was amazing, guys. You know, she was the best singer in the show, bar none. I mean, obviously with an amazing story. She survived the October 7th attacks. Very, very sad. All her friends died. You know, she started singing after the attacks. And then she became a headliner, okay? And she started singing and became famous. And, you know, that's the story, okay? She's amazing. Let's just be perfectly honest. Now, like I said before, guys, I absolutely, like everybody else in Ireland, I do support Palestine. Okay, absolutely. Especially when they bomb a hospital or they bomb, you know, a flippin', you know, school or whatever. This is not on, guys, okay? This is heavy-handedness by the government, okay? But people themselves, you know, Jewish people and stuff, nobody should have anything against these people because, you know, there's bad groups of people and everything. Okay, there's bad black people, there's great white black people. There's bad white people, there's great white people. There's bad Chinese people, there's great Chinese people. So to label and say every single person in Israel is bad is absolutely ludicrous. And it's not fair, guys. It's not a fair, it's not a fair judgment of the country. And my whole thing was, I was wondering why Israel was allowed to compete in the Eurovision. You know, Israel obviously isn't in the Eurozone. Okay, it's in some sort of zone, same as Australia is allowed to compete in the Eurovision, okay? So it's all of Europe, some of the Balkan states, then we have Israel, then we have Australia, okay? Because there's a lot of European people in Israel, something like that, guys. So it's quite complicated, it's a bit nuanced. You know, did I think they should have won? She was amazing, she was the best singer, but Austria, guys, JJ, he was just unbelievable, man. His performance was unbelievable. Even just the last part of the song when it was just buzzing, it was like that really crazy EDM style house music. It was amazing. So Austria did deserve to win. Israel absolutely should have come in second. Okay, absolutely. But people are saying now that they only got, you know, they only got second because of, you know, maybe some votes weren't cast or it was unfair. No, not at all, guys. She was the best singer, but it's about a performance as well, guys. If you guys remember America's Got Talent last year, I reacted to it as well. The best singer, okay, who was a girl by Putri Ariani, she was an Indonesian singer, by far the best singer of the whole show. But somebody playing with their dog actually won the show. So it's not actually just 100% about the you know, the singing or the whatever, the act itself. It's about how entertaining it is. Okay, as with the internet, guys, how entertaining, how much, you know, support can you get, how much attention can you get? That is the number one person. So should, you know, Yuval Rafaela, the Israeli singer, should she have won? I thought she was the best singer. She was amazing. She could have won. It was tit for tat, guys. You know, if it wasn't Austria, it was Israel. Like, and if you don't say that, you're just not being fair. You just hate Israel for some reason. I don't hate anywhere, guys. I don't hate any people. You know, that's not how I choose to live my life. Is the government, bombing this Gaza and starving people? Absolutely. Okay. But, we can separate the politics from the act, guys. I don't think that Yuval Rafaela has anything to do with the government of Israel, guys. It just seems so ludicrous. We're about to hear today the little debate that they have. So I'm going to break this down. So if I pause a few different times, don't shout at me in the comments. I love you all, my beautiful people of Ireland. And let's listen to what they have to say.
Brian, you've made the point a few times that it's unfair to kind of foist all of this onto the shoulders of any one individual person. Would you like to see an RTE as an organisation take a stand and say, we're not going to broadcast it, we're not going to take part?
Absolutely, and how brave that would have been to do that. It would have really shown strength going forward. Look, I come from Northern Ireland.
I don't agree, guys. I don't agree. I think that, if you have a right to be in a show, because your government isn't acting a certain way, it doesn't mean that the individual itself is represented by the government. Like, I don't think the Irish government represents me. I'll be perfectly honest. If the Irish government sends soldiers over to some country and they accidentally kill some innocent person or get killed or whatever, that doesn't represent me, guys. I don't, as an Irish citizen, I've lived here my whole life. My dad's Irish. What represents me is the culture of Ireland, our friendliness, helping people, stuff like that. I don't think that a country represents a person. We're talking about micro and macro management, guys. Completely different. Yuval Rafaela, her name, the Israeli singer, she doesn't represent Israel per se, guys. Now, the song itself was about the attack that she witnessed, and she was in herself. She had grenades thrown at her. She got shot at. But, the country bombing Gaza, it doesn't represent her, guys. Neither does my Irish government. If the military go off to some Chad and kill people, which has happened, Ireland has been in some conflicts before, Lebanon, whatever. Okay, we don't really commit any war crimes ever, but let's just say, like America or one of these countries or Canada, they don't represent their citizens, guys. Like, Trump doesn't represent every single person of America. Micheál Martin doesn't represent me. Neither does Simon Harris. Neither do any of those weasels. Leo Varadkar, Roger O'Gorman. I think they're the devil. I think they're evil, guys, and they're gonna pay those sacrifices in the afterlife. Let's just say, okay, they're evil in my opinion. So they don't represent me any which way at all.
West Belfast, what a mess people made of that. And when we looked around for help, nobody helped us necessarily in the way that people are helping now, from here. I continually meet people who've never been to Northern Ireland before, and all of that. But so I've got a wee bit of PTSD about it, honestly, when I'm looking at the news. I was saying this earlier in the green room, I remember what it's like to be taken out of my bed during the night and brought with the neighbours up to the local schools. I saw people shot dead in front of me. I saw people blown up. I've seen all these things with my own eyes.
What? Really? This guy's seen people shot dead and blown up in front of him. What, was he in the military or something? He hardly saw that as a kid. Now, I know the Troubles were bad, but is that actually... Did the average person see killings and stuff? I mean, I know the Troubles were bad, of course, lads. I lived here my whole life. My parents lived through it and stuff, but... That's crazy. That's wild. Yeah, that's wild.
Country that we live in. So I get very, PTSD about it when we're talking about these things.
But see, Brian, that's why.
Yeah.
Coming from your insights and expertise, a bit like Bono as well, I would have expected you would have some level of sympathy for those who were massacred in the Nova Music Festival.
Yeah.
300.
So, like I said, the Nova Music Festival is what this Yuval, she survived that. Okay. Now, of course, like I said, it's tit for tat. I'm not saying anyone is right or wrong because, Israel bombs Palestine, Palestine bombs Israel, they attack them. Well, they don't bomb them, but they attack them and stuff. So it's kind of back and forth. It's definitely not a war. I mean, it is just, basically, trying to kill Hamas type of thing. But yeah, there should be some sort of sympathy for Yuval as well. And like I said, guys, we all know what side I'm on. I've made many, many videos. I'm actually the biggest reactor in the whole country about Palestine. Go back and check out my videos. Nobody has bigger videos on Palestine than me in Ireland. On YouTube. Nobody. Fucking nobody, guys. So don't be coming at me with some sort of supporting it. Absolutely not, guys. Okay, we know what side I'm on. Okay, as well as everybody else in Ireland. All the people know what side we're on. Okay, so don't be coming at me with some bullshit like that. Okay, I've made countless videos, but like I said, guys, this Yuval, she should be given some kind of sympathy as well. All her friends got massacred in this Nova Music Festival. So
64 young people.
Exactly.
Let's park the other almost 1,000 others who were murdered. But 364 young people at a music festival in which they were dominated by what they call in Israel peaceniks, those who look for peace.
I'm thinking about those little murdered kids where their dads were carrying them in 2 bits, two broken little boys and girls. That's what I'm thinking about.
I think of them as well. And
being at a music festival is more of a privilege, I think, in a war situation.
Well, you see,
what? Wow, this guy is insane. So he said that getting killed at a music festival is more of a privilege? Like when you compare death, guys, it's not good to compare who's better to be killed, kids or flipping people at a music festival. Obviously, you don't want to be harming kids, but also the people at the music festival aren't, military combatants. They're not combatants of war. They don't deserve to die either. Like Yuval and her friends did not deserve to die or get shot at or get grenades thrown at them. Like this is the kind of double standard shit that I see in Ireland now. And like, of course, you definitely don't want to see any bombing of Gaza. Absolutely. That's just horrendous, guys. I think that's evil as hell. But at the same time, guys, Hamas did come over and murder a bunch of citizens. So
to war, so they deserve to die.
It's called a war. Don't be afraid to use the word.
No, do they deserve to die?
People never called Northern Ireland a war either. Stop being afraid of using the word war. It's a war.
Straightforward question.
It's a genocide and it's a war. That's what it is.
There was no war on the 6th of October.
It's more of a genocide than a war. Okay, a war would be that they're able to fight back. Hamas don't really have any sort of. They don't really have any. Let's say military industrial scale to fight back against Israel. That's not really how it is. It's basically just Israel bombing them. I mean, it's not really, it's comical to think that this guy thinks it's a war. So he's wrong on that.
On the 7th of October...
I just don't think you understand what war is.
On the 7th of October...
Go home and look up the word war.
On the 7th of October, 364 young people were murdered in the Nova Music Festival.
Of course, it's
and
awful.
40 were abducted.
It's awful.
Do you think they deserve that?
No one deserves to be murdered. No one.
I agree.
Especially not little kids in Gaza. No one deserves to be murdered.
Yeah, but you see, you won't categorically condemn what happened to young Israeli people between the ages of about 16
I won't get on your
20,
bus.
I'm
just not getting on your particular bus. That's
the bus
all.
is very simple.
Yeah.
The bus is what we need is this terrible war to end.
Of course we do.
Need an end to conflict.
And stop playing the blame game. You keep wanting to, push the blame in one direction. War is about 2 different factions, right?
Yeah, but
it's not out of control. People used to do it with Catholic and Protestants in the north. I've heard this rhetoric over and over again, and it doesn't forward us. It really doesn't. It just doesn't.
There is a minor problem.
There's a major problem.
No,
You're talking about minor problem.
The minor problem is Hamas is prepared
to sacrifice.
Yes, because Hamas rule Gaza. Hamas started this conflict. Hamas
we don't agree. Let's agree to disagree.
Hamas hold all the hostages.
Yeah. And no one from Israel murdered anybody.
Is that what you're saying? Its power to end the conflict.
All right. I think this is good.
Like I said, I'm an Irish man, so we're going to resort this back. They can bicker over who's bad, who's good, who's bad. I care about Ireland, guys. I'll be perfectly honest. I really, and this is going to be kind of cold-hearted, but the only people I care about in the world, because you can't care about everybody. I know you guys love to pontificate and sort of be altruistic in the world. I only care about my immediate family, my cousins, my family, my girl, this kind of thing, my friends, my guy friends, and like Ireland. Everything else outside of Ireland, guys, even my county. I care about my county. Everywhere else, I hate to say it, guys, but I can't do anything, my own. So this is a problem for the government. If we're supporting a side, I don't, like I said, what side we support more than. But absolutely Israel, people in Ireland would support Palestine absolutely more so than Israel. But at the same time, guys, this lady should have definitely been given a platform. Now, did she win fair and square? Did she come in second fair and square? Absolutely. Coming in second is still a great achievement. Because she didn't win doesn't mean that much. She was definitely the best singer, but JJ from Austria, guys, go watch that. Go watch my reaction on Eurovision. It was flipping phenomenal. It's just phenomenal. That is an amazing performance. So, although she was the best singer, she was amazing. She didn't get the points, plain and simple. So, it is what it is. It's fair enough competition. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Yeah, I think that bombing people, if there's a flipping a tower full of people in a hospital and then there's one Hamas guy, you don't go bombing the whole hospital. That's just ridiculous, right? Nobody would agree with that. But at the same time, guys, you can't justify October 7th. You know what I mean? So it's a little bit tit for tat right there. It's a little bit, tough. That conversation is tough. It is tough. But she should be absolutely allowed to compete in the Eurovision. There's no doubt about it. Absolutely no doubt about it. The government of Ireland does not represent me. The government of Israel does not represent Yuval. And just not for nothing, guys, but the Eurovision for Ireland was terrible. She didn't even make it to the damn final, guys. She didn't make it to the damn final. She was terrible. She's not even from Ireland, guys. She's from like Norway or Sweden or Finland. No hate on any of those Nordic countries, but she's not even from Ireland. So it was crazy to see that the Irish Eurovision singer, she didn't even get past the semi-finals because she was terrible. But let me know your thoughts, guys. I love you all. If you want me to help support Push Back Against the Mainstream, buy one of my t-shirts, a new t-shirt I have, and also hit the join link underneath the video. Become a member today, and I will see you all in the next one, guys. Peace.